Good afternoon and welcome to The Rush. Welcome to The Rush. My name is Randolph Critchlow. I'm happy to have you here today. We want to say thank you very much to all of you. Continue to join the show every single day. And before you know we start anything, you know what we do right here in The Rush? We start it the right way. Let's unpack, folks. Welcome to The Rush this afternoon. Folks, it has been 313 days. 313 days of this fraudulently installed administration. The country continues to reel on this dictatorship that we are living, folks. It is a wonderful Friday afternoon. A wonderful way at my end of the woods. Some persons in the country, thousands of persons around Guyana, of course, are not experiencing the same fate. They are experiencing floodwaters, some of them to the roofs of their homes, and it is a real sad situation. We're going to talk about that today. But let me know where you're joining us from this afternoon. We are going to be unpacking the flood situation. We're also going to be introducing you to a new segment that we're calling Around the Regions, where we talk with persons from the various administrative regions and let them give us an idea of what is happening, especially in light of what we are experiencing right now with these heavy rainfalls and unprecedented flooding. So we are going to be talking about that. We're going to be unpacking a number of other issues. We have our Crime Watch segment today. We are also going to be talking about the fallout from what happened at Parliament last evening. There are a number of issues that we need to unpack as it relates to Parliament. It is going to be a packed show, and I want to say thank you very much for those persons who are tuned in. Remember, share the live stream. Let others know that we are about to unpack some credible and valid information here this afternoon. It is Friday. TGIF. No persons often look forward to the Friday. You know, it's the beginning of the weekend. It is the 11th of June, 2021. I normally get my dates mixed up, and my viewers often tell me, look, this is the date. But folks, let us know where you're joining us from. We see Brooklyn is already in the house. Liberty Avenue, Queens already in the house. Canada is already in the house. These people are locked in all the time, every single day. Remember, if you're joining us on YouTube, remember to subscribe. Hit the subscribe button. Hit the notification bell so that you can be informed as to when we are going live every single time. One of my technical persons giving me a laugh there, but it's we're going to be asking you, of course, to subscribe and, of course, to share the live stream. Like the YouTube page, subscribe to the YouTube page and like the Facebook page. You know, you got to get your terminologies correct. You subscribe on YouTube, you like on Facebook, like and follow on Facebook. South Velvet, Andrews, thank you very much for tuning in. Chicago. And in the 80s, in the early 90s, Chicago Bulls. That I grew up on Chicago Bulls and Michael Jordan, of course. No, we can forget that. Trinidad and Tobago is in the house. Haslington is in the house. St. Kitts is in the house. Freeport, Long Island, Dallas, the Dallas Mavericks. Y'all give the Los Angeles Clippers a good fight. Thank you very much, everyone. Brooklyn is in the house. Brooklyn, I tell you this, it looks like we're going to be facing the Utah Jazz going to be facing you in the finals of the NBA. That's my prediction. Barbados is in the house. St. Lucia, our good friends over there in St. Lucia. Toronto is in the house. Thank you very much. Kildonan. Region 6 Nursery. Yeah. Kildonan, folks. I'm trying to keep up with all of the Haslington. Yes. Good afternoon. The people at Tushen. Tushen is the West Coast Demerara. Tushen, thank you very much for tuning in this afternoon, French Guyana. Folks, we are going to be unpacking some issues, but before we do that, I am obliged to share with you the message from the CDC. We know this flood situation is serious, and we want to share the message with you. I'll be coming back on the other side of this quick break to tell you about what the CDC has put out there, a little advisory PSA, and I'll be back to continue the show.
Kit with all medicines and
Weather predictions can sometimes be inaccurate, but we do know that even heavy rain falling over a short period usually results in flooding.
We need to be prepared at all times for extreme weather and floods.
Always keep strong water boots for each family member. Keep your drinking water safe. Keep a supply of non-perishable foods enough for the whole family for at least 3 days.
Pack an emergency kit with all medicines and first aid supplies, toiletries, change of clothes, towels, soap, and other personal supplies. Be ready to move to your safe center when advised by the CDC or your regional and community leaders.
Listen to your radio for the alert messages.
The CDC will help you to stay safe.
Guyana, our country, our responsibility.
Message there from the CDC folks. This flood situation is, and we're going to start there this afternoon as we heard the advisory from the CDC. We're going to start there with the flood situation because I believe that we see the images, and we see images coming from certain places, but we don't necessarily appreciate the severity of what is happening, the seriousness of what is happening around the country with this flood situation. And I want to start, of course, with a little story that a volunteer from the CDC would have shared with me. And it seems as though there is, an attempt by the PPP, the government, to kind of downplay what is happening all across this country. What is happening all across this country. And we're going to be unpacking that just now. But as I said, folks, share the live stream. Share the live stream. Let people know that we are live, and we are rearing to go. We're ready to go. We will be joined by a representative from region number 8. One of our correspondents in region number 8 will give us an update of what is happening there in region number 8. Remember, you can also follow me at Reality Refugee on Twitter and on Instagram for those persons who are updated with what that is. Remember, the flood relief for those persons in Kokwani that is still on. Those persons who are interested in donating can call the number 603-9575, or you can visit. Donations are accepted at the National Congress of Women headquarters at Public Road, Kitty. Please, if you can donate, please donate, because there are persons in dire needs. There are persons in dire need, sorry. So if you can donate, please donate. And please remember, there is the Office of the Leader of the Opposition has established a flood emergency center, and you can call that number there to 503-2465, or you can walk in and share information and get information on what is happening in the various regions. Flood emergency center there. Now that we've gotten that out of the way, folks, let's get into what is happening in the news, because we have to unpack a number of things. Folks, I don't even know what to say. But let's get to what is happening in the news. There are a number of issues. We had Parliament last evening, and so there are a number of issues that we have to unpack in terms of what happened there. Right? So before we get to Parliament, let's deal with this here first. We picking up on this story coming out of the Village Voice. Picking up on this story, user explains reasons for non-appearance of a GCOM trio in court. Now, as you may know, the charges against Lowenfield, Myers, and Mingo, they are still ongoing, and more charges are being brought up. This, of course, is a clear attempt by the PPP to try and oust those persons, to push those persons out of their job so that they can put whoever they want at GCOM. This is what they said in plain words. They said, this is what we want. We don't want these people there. So, you can't necessarily see these charges with anything else but jaundiced eyes. You can't necessarily see it with anything but jaundiced eyes, because this is what their intentions are, and it has been made clear. So now, let me just give you an example of how wicked and vindictive the PPP are becoming. Now, there was a call, and let me read the story to give you some context. They were supposed to appear in court, and they did not. But you might be surprised as to why. Let me read from the article at the Village Voice. Attorney at law representing Chief Elections Officer Keith Lowenfield, Deputy CEO Roxanne Myers, and Returning Officer Clement Mingo said that he was informed of Wednesday's court hearing 8 minutes before the case was called. Y'all think it's a joke? Y'all think Guyana is a real place? I know some of you might be thinking, 8 minutes. 8 minutes before the case was called, though he had repeatedly inquired about the court date and the time. This is how wicked and vindictive these people are. You are going to call these 3 people and say, you know what, you need to appear in court in the next 8 minutes? Where in the world does that happen? Which part of this world does that happen? Folks, let me continue reading. In a bid to set the record straight, using a statement disclosed that at 10:52, this was on Wednesday though, 10:52 hours on Wednesday, he received a call from the Senior Superintendent Mitchell Caesar requesting Lowenfield, Myers, and Mingo to attend court at 11. So you don't know which part of the world these people are, which part of the country. You will call them at 10:52 to tell them you need to come to court for 11 o'clock. And folks, this is just another example of the incompetence and the shambolic nature in which the PPP goes about their administration, so-called administration of this country. 8 minutes. I requested that Lowenfield, Myers, and Mingo attend court at 11 hours. Though hours prior, he had inquired about the court date and the time and was told that no date was set. Y'all think that easy? Y'all think that easy? User explained that based on an invitation issued by the Senior Superintendent Caesar, both Lowenfield and Myers reported to CID headquarters, Ivlery, on Tuesday the 8th. This was the day before they were there at the court at the Ivlery at 15:30 hours. He said, in keeping with the request, both Lowenfield and Myers attended the CID headquarters at 3:30 p.m., where they were informed in a video recorded interview of the intention of the Guyana Police Force to file 2 criminal charges of conspiracy to defraud the electors of Guyana between March 2nd and August 2nd. This was, of course, the period after election and up to when this government, this fraudulent government was installed. He said at the conclusion of the video recorded interview, he specifically inquired of Senior Superintendent Caesar when Lowenfield and Myers were supposed to attend court. Mr. Caesar indicated that he would contact Mr. Hughes and inform him of the date and time the charges, and they were not yet filed. Now, this is when he called the man. 8 minutes before the case call up. Y'all think it easy? Y'all think it easy? It ain't easy. But let's continue going down the news train, folks. Let's continue going down the train tracks of what happened, what is happening in Guyana. Fallout of the Parliament. We get into Parliament update now. Now, every time I see this particular person, I know is nothing good. Nothing good. You know, some of the fraudulent ministers, sometimes it does make sense. The few and far between, sometimes you just hear something from them that you could say that make little sense. As fraudulent as they are. This particular one here, nothing good. Nothing good. They need to take him and throw him away. The tin pot dictator. Now, he was asked question. Now, first of all, you don't hold Parliament for 90-something days, 94, 96, whatever it is. Then you come to Parliament and you refuse to answer questions on issues that are of concern to the Guyanese people. Refuse to answer questions. So he don't know what's going on with local government election. He can't answer any questions. Picking up again on the report coming out of the Village Voice. Question posed by the opposition in the National Assembly on local government elections and other programs and projects under the Ministry of Local Government and Regional Development were met with a single response. Refer to the national estimates passed at the 12th sitting of the National Assembly. This is what this man who is supposed to be representing the people stood up and said when asked about what is happening. When asked about what is happening with local government election and other issues under his ministry, he tells people in Parliament that they must go and look at the estimates. You think it easy? Y'all think it easy? Partnership for National Unity member Parliament Ganesh Maipal, who tabled the question, told the Village Voice that the Minister of Local Government, Nigel Daniels' failure to adequately respond to questions sends a bad signal. The minister is either ignorant of his role and that he has to come to the people of Guyana as representatives, or he is deliberately withholding the answer because of a calculated effort to put money into his friends and family's pocket. This is Ganesh Maipal, his conclusion, because if you either don't know your responsibility or you're deliberately choosing not to answer these questions. And this wasn't the only minister who seemed out of his sorts and they don't necessarily know what to say. Remember, the Minister of Labor said he's not responsible for workers' health. He ain't responsible for workers' health. When asked about the COVID situation in the mining industry, he didn't even know if a bluffer answer. He didn't even know if a bluffer answer and say, you know what, yes, I've been working with the Minister of Health and we're going to be looking into it and we're going to definitely put it on the agenda and ensure that we deal, because the workers' health is very important. No, I don't deal with workers' health. I'm the Minister of Labor, but I don't know about workers' health. That's not my area. So what is your purpose? What is this one purpose here? What's Danlal purpose if he can't tell you anything about when to look? And again, it speaks to the lack of coordination and the shambolic nature that the shambles that they are in. And we're going to talk about the shambles that they're in when it comes to the flood response, because it is totally horrendous what is going on. So this one, they know nothing but local government. Again, another puppet dictator, because I believe he's just going along with whatever Jagdeo say he gotta do. He strikes me as a yes man anyhow. Yes, sir. Go and interfere in the NDCs and the RDCs and ensure that we put people. Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Tin pot dictator. What is your purpose, Darmlad? You don't have one. You can't tell people local government election because you ain't even know how to start doing anything. Let's move on. Enough time spent on this clown. Talking about clowns. Speaking about clowns. More fallout from what is happening at Parliament. The Speaker disallows the motion on countrywide flooding. Speaker disallows flooding on countrywide. We spoke about this yesterday. Folks, if you were tuned to our program yesterday, we spoke about it and how ridiculous it is for the Speaker of the National Assembly. This was another motion brought by Shadow Minister of Local Government, APNUFC Representative Ganesh Maipal. A motion to have the Parliament discuss and probably table some resolutions in terms of how we can deal with this national disaster, this national crisis that is the countrywide flooding. This man here, I'm tempted to call him a few names, but I'm not going to. Smiling sweetly. See how he's smiling sweetly there? Smiling sweetly. Smiley Sue said that the Parliament can't discuss the flooding situation because it's not urgent. To which Mr. MP Maipal Slopan asks whether or not the livelihood of people, life and death situation, people are dying, COVID is killing people, their houses are flooded. They don't know where they're gonna live, but that ain't urgent enough for Manzoor Nadir. Manzoor smiling because the flooding urgent. The problem here, folks, and if we can dig a little deeper into what played out in Parliament yesterday, the problem as I saw it was that the PPP believes that if they don't talk about things in Parliament and make it an issue, they will look good. And if we talk about flaring and if we talk about flooding, they will look bad. So at the expense of delaying and not sitting down as a bipartisan group and trying to come up with a national solution to what is happening, they can't do that, because then you would say to the rest of the country that, look, we were doing stupidness before and we had to sit down with the opposition to figure out how to move it forward. So the lives of people will put at stake because your pride, you don't want to injure your pride. And let's come together and have a national unified task force to deal with this flooding situation. No, we can't do that. That's too much. Manzoor said it's not urgent. That's what we're facing in this country. That's the sort of leadership we're facing in this country. These are your representatives. The other one said he no longer local government. The other one said that, here what? Workers' health is not my problem. There's a Ministry of Health problem. And the speaker said, listen, flooding is no emergency. Flooding is urgent. I feel sad that these are the people who have to run our country. Let's not deal with this clown either. We're going to come back to this story at the end of the program, because we saw another clown. We saw another clown, Nandalal, bringing up the Walter Rodney report. Now, I want you to put the fact that people are suffering in this country, you know. People are suffering in this country. COVID killing them. Their homes are flooded. They're being fired every day by this administration, this fraudulent administration. It is total chaos. Crime is on the increase. But the Attorney General, the fraudulent Attorney General, decided that, you know what we need to talk about? What happened in 1983 to Walter Rodney. I want you to understand that. I want you to let that sink in your system. COVID is ravaging our country. Flood waters up to people's roofs. Exxon flaring out there like they're heading good. Crime is on the increase. Crime is out of control. People beating up police officers. They can't figure out how to get flood relief to people. All of these happening. People losing their jobs every day at the hands of this fraudulent administration. The country is in a shambles. But you know what the Attorney General decided to come to Parliament to talk about? What happened in 1983? It was Walter Rodney. And amending the death certificate of Walter Rodney. Because that is an issue that is urgent, apparently. We can't talk about the flood in Parliament, but we could talk about what happened in 1983 or whatever. We could talk what happened in 1980. Huh? Sorry. Let's talk about what happened in 1980 with Walter Rodney. But don't let us talk about the flooding. Y'all think it's a joke? That is what Nandalal came to Parliament to talk about. With all that is happening in this country. APNU-AFC Member of Parliament Tabitha Sarbo-Hali, of course, the former executive of the WPA. Walter Rodney hailed and led. She has questioned the motives behind the government intended motion to adopt the Walter Rodney COI report and set the record straight on the circumstances surrounding Walter Rodney's death. This is what she said. I would like to commend the Honorable Minister of Legal Affairs, Anand Nandalal, for his glowing reviews of Dr. Walter Rodney. But the question must be asked, why now? Again, and I just set it up there for you, you know. In light of all that is happening in the country, that's the question I want to know, why now? Let me continue with what she said. But the question has to be asked, why now? PPP's revision does not and cannot erase history. If my understanding of history is accurate, it is the same PPP that was preparing to form a left alliance with LFS Burnham in 1985. It is indeed a pity that he who is such a good place, it is such a pity that he who is in such a good place to practice the Rodney principles is a central figure in the abuse of the African Guyanese. MP Sarbahali issued a statement hours after Attorney General informed the National Assembly. In addition to the adoption of the report, the death certificate of Walter Rodney would be amended to change his cause of death from misadventure to assassination, and the job description from unemployed to professor. Right. My question, just like Tabitha Sarbahali, why now? With all that we're facing in this country, you mean that the Attorney General can't find any other pressing matter to bring to the Parliament? You know what is funny, people? You know what is laughable, but it's still sad? That just before the fraudulent Attorney General made this presentation about, made this presentation about Walter Rodney, Sir Ganesh Maipal was denied the chance to bring a motion on the flood situation. So again, we can listen to what happened in the 1980s, but we can't talk about the Guyanese suffering now. You think the PPP easy? Wash your madness. Folks, as I said, crime is on the increase. Crime is on the increase. Let us give you some information of what is happening around the country in terms of the crime watch, folks. I just want to share with you two stories that we're following from the local newspapers. We are following a few stories that really caught my attention. Linden man who murdered his mother collapsed and dies at police station. These are the few stories that caught my attention for those persons who, on Tuesday, the battered body of Ajada's mother, who was found in Mackenzie home, the 56-year-old woman was found beaten to death on the bed in the house and the door on top of her. Days after being taken in custody for the murder of his mother, 24-year-old Lindener collapsed and died this morning. Sad situation all around. And then we're picking up on this story here. It's not necessarily Crime Watch, but it's an interesting and sad story. Execrable family buries wrong body. Believes it was act of vengeance. Wrong body. In a previous report, it was reported that the wrong body was given to them by the hospital. Folks, you can't make these things up. You think it's easy in Guyana? And the Sequevo family is in disbelief after burying the wrong dead. According to reports out of the region, the woman who goes by the name of Auntie Baby from Little Alliance Region Number 2 recently died of COVID-19 at the Saudi hospital. The body was subsequently transferred to the Charity Hospital mortuary. The family went to uplift the body on Sunday and was told not to open the sealed coffin. Family followed the instruction and buried the body in the coffin at Queenstown. However, it was this morning that the family received the shock of their lives. And they received a call from the Charity Hospital saying that the body of Auntie Baby was still at the morgue and they had buried the wrong dead. The family believed that it was not a mix-up and was act of vengeance by high-ranking officials within the regions within the region where the family is currently has a feud going on. Folks, you can't make these things up. And that was our Guyana is not a real place episode. Can't be a real place. Sometimes I don't think so. Folks, in an effort to ensure that you know what is happening around our regions, we are starting a new segment around the region, and we are going to be bringing to you our correspondents from various parts of Guyana, and they are going to be giving us updates on what is happening in their region. So we're going to start today with region number 8. We're going to start today with region number 8. After we finish around the region, we're going to be joined by, all right, we're going to be joined. I'm going to try and get our political correspondent, Miss Nicole Telford, on the line so we can have a little breakdown at the end of the show of all what that is happening in Guyana. But I'm going to be joined by representative from region number 8, Mr. Timothy Joner, and he's going to tell us about what is happening over there, down there in Pataro Sipruni, region number 8. Folks, let us right. Well, we're going to be joined by him in just a few. I'm trying to get him to call in on the show right now. But as we wait on him to come, let us remind you of because it's a lot of flooding in region number 8 also. But let us remind you about what the CDC PSA
Weather predictions can sometimes be inaccurate, but we do know that even heavy rain falling over a short period usually results in flooding.
We need to be prepared at all times for extreme weather and floods.
Always keep strong water boots for each family member. Keep your drinking water safe. Keep a supply of non-perishable foods enough for the whole family for at least 3 days.
Pack an emergency kit with all medicines and first aid supplies, toiletries, change of clothes, towels, soap, and other personal supplies. Be ready to move to your safe center when advised by the CDC or your regional and community leaders.
Listen to your radio for the alert messages.
The CDC will help you to stay safe.
Guyana, our country, our responsibility.
Accurate, but we do know that even heavy rain falling over a short period usually results in flooding.
We need to be prepared at all times for extreme weather and floods.
Always keep strong water boots for each family member. Keep your drinking water safe. Keep a supply of non-perishable foods enough for the whole family for at least 3 days.
Pack an emergency kit with all medicines and first aid supplies, toiletries, change of clothes, towels, soap, and other personal supplies. Be ready to move to your safe center when advised by the CDC or your regional and community leaders.
Listen to your radio for the alert messages.
The CDC will help you to stay safe.
Guyana, our country, our responsibility.
Right, message here from the CDC for those persons. Folks, we are joined now by Mr. Timothy Junior from region number 8. Good day to you, sir.
Good day.
Good.
Hello?
Yes, good day to
How
you,
are you?
and welcome to the Rush this afternoon.
Yes, thank you. Thank you for being on the air this afternoon.
Right. So we're of course talking about what is happening around the region, and we hope that you can give us some insight as to what is happening in region number 8.
Well, Ronald, at this time in Region 8, well, you know, this season is the rain.
Yes, we know it. There were reports that region 8 hadn't any flooding, but then we saw some pictures and some images of what is happening up there. What is the situation like up there?
Well, the rain came down heavily on the 30th of
Mm-hmm.
and within 5 to 6 hours rainfall, continuous rainfall, a lot of people was caught unguarded.
Yeah.
due to them expecting such a heavy downpour and the water to rise so fast.
Okay.
So a lot of people suffer,
Mm-hmm.
especially within the reason why the people in this village El Paso suffer is because they're actually at the side of the Chamachimari Falls.
Okay. This is which village you're saying? El Paso?
Yeah, El Paso.
Okay.
Right? It's the opposite where the National Center was, Chamachimari National Center,
Yeah.
National Service Center.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, and due to that, the Essequibo River is high, and that area, the lower Pataro, from Chamachimari, is just about a few miles to the mouth of the Essequibo River.
Yeah.
So due to the high Essequibo, the water will not be running off. Up to now, the water daily drop a little.
Yeah, I heard today that the water is not receding at any particular pace. Is it the same thing up there?
Yeah, same thing. Because the Essequibo high, the Essequibo is full.
Mm-hmm.
Right? So the water will not be receding in no pace.
Wow.
And we still getting showers of rain.
Wow.
So
Wow.
every shower of rain keep the rivers up.
Yeah. Yeah.
Right? So that is the situation here. A lot of farmers right across the region, sub-region 1 and 2. Sub-region 1 is not Pacorimans. They also experience a lot of flooding. The village of Parmakatai, they're in a standby looking for expecting a mudslide due to the rain cut away the mountain.
Wow.
Right?
Wow.
So that's what they're facing right now, hoping that the rain, if the rain continue like that, we could expect here a mudslide some parts of the mountain.
Right. And the farmers you're talking about up there, these are cattle farmers or crop
crop farmers.
Okay.
Cattle them okay so far.
Okay.
Right in reports, right? But the crops, remember, in these areas, especially in sub-region 1, cassava is the main product.
Yes.
Right? And most farms, say 95% of the farms are underwater. Because the water is not receding.
Wow.
Right? So the residents, there's done footy in the pressure right now, because residents studying the cassavas and other crops. And those areas, very cost living is very expensive.
Yeah.
High.
Yeah.
Right?
I can imagine. And then now the food will be affected. So I can understand the prices. Timothy, can you tell me about the relief effort? We hearing things that the CDC is operating in all of these regions. Can you tell me about what the relief effort has been like there in region number 8?
The CDC just visited to make an assessment.
Okay.
They just made an assessment. The Polysukai just dash in and hand out a few samples of Tsunami, just a few persons, right? And just in sub-region 2, she visited, right?
Yeah.
But no one else up to this date and village sub-region 1.
Mm-hmm.
This is not Pacorimans, as to the information I received.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
So we are the more to the go side.
Wow.
Right?
Wow.
Because the water rain still falling. It hit the mining sector very hard, right? A lot of miners suffer, a lot of losses, right? And in these areas, when the mining sector under such pressure, economical activity slows down considerably,
Yeah.
So,
yeah.
Right? So there's something else to say here, right here.
Yeah.
Right?
So
otherwise to that,
Go ahead.
Yeah. Otherwise to that, the custom, we know the weather is the rainy weather. And we know the rain is falling heavy. Another thing is the road to Madio. Right? The Mango Landing, Tibali Mango Landing.
Yeah.
The water is very high there, right? Buses cannot come into Madio right now.
Yeah. Yeah.
And the cost of reaching into Madio now is actually like $18,000. About to bring it to the price was originally 10,000.
Yes.
Now they got about to be bringing you to Bali. Then you have to pay a boat across to go to Mango Landing. Then you got to take a cruiser from Mango Landing to Madio. No bus can, travel on the road. The road is very in a deplorable condition.
Yeah.
So right now, a slight, fresh green charted, fresh meat and them such things. because the buses normally bring in these things on a daily basis, right?
Yeah.
But now the buses cannot reach into Madio. They just reach up to Sibali,
Yeah.
and then they do the shuttle from here to there. And right now we got a bulldozer pulling up trucks at different points in the road, right? We try with the excavator, but the excavator can't make it. We have to send out people have to rent a bulldozer to go out there and pull up the truck, ration trucks and such
Yeah.
things. So the road is in a very deplorable state. And so my information, the government I have no plan to do any kind of repairs, make the bad spot, because not only that they have to do the entire road.
Yes.
Right? They have some particular bad spot because we did it in our time. Look after the bad spot in these same seasons and make things more simple.
Yeah. I'm looking at some pictures now, Timothy, of the El Paso in Potaro Superuni. I am seeing water up to some parts of close to the roofs of people's houses.
That's the way the people have to escape out the house, because rain, we normally know rain is fall, but no one expect the water to rise up. So people get caught chicken.
Wow.
Hoping that the rain would stop on the water with the seed.
Wow.
Right? So when they realize, this water have no turning back, it just coming. The only way is through the roof.
Wow.
Right?
Wow.
So this is the kind of experience people, the residents experience in the area.
Yeah. And I'm interested, as you said, about the relief effort. The CDC has not distributed any sort of relief in that region. You said that the minister came in, but no relief was given to the people as yet?
No. CDC, nothing as yet. To my information, nothing as yet. The CDC just came and make an assessment and went out again. Right?
Mm-hmm.
The Madia Mayor and Town Council, they help out with some relief from their little collection they have.
Yeah.
They visited the area of Paso and
yeah.
They hand out some hampers.
Yeah.
Right? Otherwise just to move in and do a couple hampers too. Right?
Yeah.
This is the kind of relief the residents get up at this time,
Yeah.
Right? Nothing for the CDC. CDC just do assessment.
Wow.
Right?
So I'm also seeing a picture here of a bridge in Madia.
No, that's the water under the bridge.
Yes. Let me see if I can.
That is in Denham Bridge.
Okay.
Right. It's a suspension bridge. One the only suspension bridge in this country, the historical mark.
Yeah.
You see the water under there? Just to show you the height of the water.
I'm going to try I'm going to try to show it now to the audience. But tell us about the bridge. Yeah,
the bridge it was built in 1943, I think.
Yeah.
Right? By the mining company, BG Consolidated.
Yeah.
Right? It links the Bartico-Patar. There's a link to the Bartico-Patar Road. Right? Mm-hmm. Through crossing that bridge, you could reach the Bartico.
Okay.
Right straight to the road, and the road was abandoned in this government. In their time, in the 23 years, they abandoned the road, and we, in our government time, we built it up. So right now, the rescue people bring through business people bringing through the stocks through Chirima, because the water a little bit, you could cross a little and come to drive the Madi through the road.
Yeah, I'm trying to pull up the bridge now. But so the water there, so you can't cross the bridge at this point in time.
Yeah, you could cross it. Yeah, because the water covered, but the height, showing the height of the water.
Okay.
Right?
Yeah.
Who know the area? Know well, this is real high water.
Yeah. We're seeing the bridge at this point in time.
Yeah. Right. So it's showing the water that's the real amount of water that is coming down. Remember the Potaro River coming from Bongtayanka and from down Kaicho, come down the whole all the tributaries.
Yes.
Right? And this is the bottom of it. Right now, Chamachimari, El Paso, this is the last part of the Potaro River. So you get the full force of the water, everything in the water from all the tributaries.
The Taro River, of course, is a river that leads into the Kaicho Falls.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
Right. So
from the Montangano.
Yes.
Right.
So it's quite sad what's happening there. I'm hoping that the CDC responds urgently, because based on your reporting here and what's happening in the region, it's dire. How many persons do you believe are affected in your particular area?
Well, to the residents, right? We got about 15 homes, really, families really feel the heat, you know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
At least in communities,
Oh,
right?
your small community.
Yeah, in like El Paso, my Cody, I'm ready to El Paso,
Yeah.
right? Houses wash away, you know what I mean?
Yes.
Such things.
Yeah.
Farms and no water still,
Yeah.
right? And well, when it comes to the mining sector, I can't give you a number, but the number of miners affected, excavators covered down, you know what I mean, camps wash away, you know what I mean, such things.
Yeah. Yeah.
Right? So this is what we're facing right now, and you know, everybody just saying put hope into the rain to hold its hand. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Otherwise, you know, in our region we have a very serious issue with our RDC.
Yes, and so let's go there, because there are complaints that the coordination between central government and the CDC's effort, there isn't any communication and coordination between those regional people. I know that there is RDC there, and when I say that, I remember, of course, the contention that they had with the RDC up in region number 8. But tell us about what is happening there. Is the RDC in a position to render any assistance to these people?
Well, at this point, the RDC, I can't say anything about the RDC doing anything, because the RDC is not really seen as the RDC.
Mm-hmm.
Right? The RDC is functioning in the region. Let me give you a hint about what's going on in the region for the RDC. So our region is, I have to say, have three chairpersons. Let me explain to you.
Yes, go ahead.
One is Pauline Tukai as a dictator. We have the installed chairman, which is Heliceo, right?
Yeah.
And we have another guy by the name of Ramkumar Singh.
Yes.
Right? Who Pauline tried to instruct the REO to acknowledge him functioning as the chairman, because the bandit, the installed chairman from coming over to sub-region 2, let him need them to stay in sub-region 1. But the REO refused to acknowledge for instruction.
Wow.
Right? Because he said he didn't ever know it. But the REO, Mr. Peter Rapatar, Mr. Dana Ramatar, former president brother.
Yes.
He's the REO. And another thing now with the RDC, so Pauline's dictatorship, she's served the councillors, our councillors, the minutes, the same day of the meeting, when there was like do selection of the committee, farming committees. And at this present moment, no councillor from the coalition is in any of the 5 standing committees.
What?
That's it right now in this region. None. Right? And when the council them tried to make a representation, Pauline is all the RDC meetings as a dictator, and you know, whatever she says, she's just jumping, and you know, we feel it is very rough way the RDC, right?
I can understand.
Nothing.
Yeah, and this, you know, we're happy that we're knowing that this is happening in region number 8 too, because across the region, we see this sort of dictatorship things, the instructions being given by ministers. We know what Damlal is doing at the various NDCs and RDCs. Now you're telling us in region number 8, it's even worse, because they're excluding the APNU AFC from those committees.
Exactly.
Wow.
So that is a burning issue right now,
folks.
And knowing that the APNU AFC won the region.
Yes.
Right.
Yeah.
Right. And it's just due to the same dictatorship installation of who they need to put in. Remember that the JLP,
yes,
the puppet party, they got 1 seat, right? And when the representative for that party stated that he would be supporting the coalition, they bought the swearing in.
Yes, I remember that.
Then they organized the whole thing and bring it to Madio, and Sukai come in, Damdal come in, Shumon come in to make sure. Let me tell you what they did. They locked down the councillors. The councillors couldn't even move out Madio. Make sure they don't come out like prisoners, you know what I mean, and move them to the swearing-in area. Do the swearing-in, and no corridor.
Yeah.
You understand?
Yeah.
So this is what we facing right now. We thinking about ways and means how to get our councillors involved,
Yeah.
because remember, it's over half the region supported the coalition.
Yes.
And
Yes.
if the representatives, the people them don't have no say in the business of the region, we're looking bad.
Yep, definitely. Definitely.
Right.
We're coming close to program time, Timothy. We're happy that you're giving us
Yeah.
updates. I will hope, of course, that you don't be a stranger to the show. I'm hoping that we can definitely get some updates from you as to what is happening in region number 8 on a periodic basis.
Yeah, well, I'm here to give my support.
Yes, definitely.
That is what I have to do.
Thank you very much for that update on what's happening in region number 8 there. We hope that the people who are suffering can be given some relief, and you know that we pray that the water recedes in the coming days. But again, thank you very much for sharing your time with us here and bringing the credible and valid information to the rush this afternoon. Thank you.
Yeah, thanks.
Man. Great.
Thank you. Take care.
Folks, that was around the region. And we hope that you continue to be a part of the show. And thank you very much, Mr. Timothy Jonah there, bringing you information from region number 8. We're going to continue in the coming days to bring our correspondents from around the region, around Guyana, and so that you can know what is happening in those far-flung areas in Guyana. Folks, we're coming up to program time. I want to thank you very much for being a part of the program today. Our loyal viewers, our loyal persons who may just have their phones or their tablets on and listening, then your listeners. Thank you very much for being a part of the program today. Let me just leave you with this, folks. Let's continue to work together. We have to. We do not have a choice in this country. We have to continue to work together for national development. It is a must. It is a must. We hope that you enjoy your weekend. Hopefully we can come back on Sunday with a special report. So look forward to that, the Rush special report this weekend. Hoping to bring you something very interesting, because I want to deal with some significant issues unfolding in our country. Until then, ensure you work together for national development and stay safe, folks. Right.
Weather predictions can sometimes be inaccurate, but we do know that even heavy rain falling over a short period usually results in flooding.
We need to be prepared at all times for extreme weather and floods.
Always keep strong water boots for each family member. Keep your drinking water safe. Keep a supply of non-perishable foods enough for the whole family for at least 3 days.
Pack an emergency kit with all medicines and first aid supplies, toiletries, change of clothes, towels, soap, and other personal supplies. Be ready to move to your safe center when advised by the CDC or your regional and community leaders.
Listen to your radio for the alert messages.
The CDC will help you to stay safe.
Guyana